Welcome on in, everybody. I am Dr. Kendo here to cast with a wonderful friend of mine. We've done this before, right? Kanashii, ladies and gentlemen, please say hi to the people.
Hello, everybody. We are just going to be hopping straight into this. I believe it's a GP match today.
Yep, we're going to be looking at the Japan meta. I've done this just like once or twice before on the channel, so to me, still kind of fresh. There are definitely viewers at home who know plenty about the Japan meta. What you're probably going to see, especially with two Greedents on the teams, it's pretty obvious and it's pretty understood that it's just like, as they're a Squavit right here at the beginning of the match, they just kind of beeline it for the other team's, jungle. So I think we're going to see that manifest first, and obviously the Cinderace right now, player going to be jungling for purple. Probably we're going Dratini right there, yeah, on orange. Okay, we can probably confirm that. A little bit of Talonflame, though. You see hiding out right here, ready for that Greedent, man.
Yeah, it's very interesting how they go for this with the Squavits. The main point is to not only just steal farm, it's also to harass the jungler. And it's really big. I remember watching a video about how important it is for that jungler to get to level 5, and literally taking away any form of their farm denies this from them. So it's really tough when you're a jungler and you have to now deal with a Greedent / Squavit.
That's exactly right, and so you notice that with the purple one getting taken out, they can obviously assist right here on their fellow purple squad. You notice even Wigglytuff had to come in there, though, as a Jiggly right now. But you're right. If you can also, though, as the opposing team, make that Dratini, let's say, jungling useless, that's awesome. Like, if you can set them back as far as possible, it's very good, because you and I both know, and the viewers all know, just what a menace Dragonite is at this point, folded right into that meta quickly.
Yeah, the second that they get Dragon Dance, as the Score Bunny's going to be going down here, and everybody on orange is just going to get a quick dunk. The thing is, with Dragon Dance, it just stacks on that damage, and if you could deny the Dragonair from becoming a thing, then your team can actually have a chance at getting the fight and not letting it escape as well.
That's exactly right. And what do you think about the pick of Absol coming in here? We do want to mention this is actually, wow, beautiful. We do want to mention, though, that this is just about 2 or 3 days before the January 20th maintenance and that patch. So certainly Absol wasn't really touched through that, but, other Pokemon did change a little bit. I'm just now realizing how weird that sounds saying touched, but you get what I'm saying, of course.
Yeah, it's a very different look, and I understand what they're going for. They need early damage just in case of the Cinderace cannot get the levels that they need. But it's really interesting that they're kind of playing it as a carry role. They're playing it in this bottom lane, getting levels, and then hoping that it stacks on damage before they could start that fight.
Currently, leading in points for Purple Squad with 36, that Absol, and level 7 right now, so not bad, 41 as we're talking. But, the thing is that Absol, you can, depending on the items, and again, Spectator Mode, especially before that maintenance, look at this Greedent in a lot of trouble, but still just able to covet out of that. That's the kind of beauty, but also frustration of Greedent, am I right? But before I get on too many tangents, I was going to say that Absol, depending on the held items, you can abuse kind of, I would say, several things about Absol if you are just a rapid goal scorer. So you think about the attack weight and items of the like, basically that effect when you score.
Man, like a thief in the night, you just see that belch come through just to steal the Rotom. That was smooth. But yeah, they won the one at bottom, and then over at top, and as you mentioned, held items, it will change and depend on how much damage the Absol can have. If it is attack weight, score shield, maybe even maybe Razor Claw or Crit Scope, I can see that as well. But yeah, I mean, it does a ton of damage, and the only problem that you have with that kind of build is sustain. But if you have a Greedent that everybody has to kind of deal with, or a Wiggly that's putting him to sleep, it's a lot of damage that's going to be coming through.
I think that's a good point, and we see, of course, just speaking of scoring in general, we mentioned Japan meta. A lot of the times that's what we're going to see. Look at this, the Blazing Bicycle to take out that Talonflame. It's like, no, you thought you were going to run away, but no, we are going to take you out of here. I was going to say, though, look at this. The scores were Just as we're talking, they were a little bit more even. Now purple has, though, gotten in that 40, gotten in several of the higher and mid-range point values and things. I was just going to say, though, that they were kind of stacking up pretty evenly. We are already in that middle game, though, and so we can see how quickly this can change. It's just that's a little bit more typical of the Japanese meta, right, is we're going to be scoring. Could be even just 3 points at a time, just like this Greedent. Steal the farm, boom, score that in.
Yeah, it's a little thing that mechanically we haven't really touched on, but whenever you score, you gain a tiny bit of experience as well. So a lot of teams in Japan will probably prioritize getting those extra levels, even if it's just a couple, if not one or two little things that they can get. Oh, the reversal by the fly, that just feels real bad.
I know.
Almost had him there. But yeah, it's really interesting because if you consider it, it's just another way of getting more levels that you can't find anywhere else on the map.
And so Absol really fortunate right here, to have Cinderace. Just that was great placement, right, to be waiting in the grass like that. And of course, Dragonite right now going to be helping out with that objective. But when you have Dragonite and Talonflame, that's a pretty good team to take down a Dreadnought like that. Dragonite can solo it, of course, and Talonflame very good for steals. So look at that. They're going to get rid of the Ivysaur right there, and the Greedent's still going to pester them, obviously, but they will manage to break that bottom goal.
Yeah, they're breaking bottom, and they're trying to use the quick score right now, and they're going to get it along with the score shield that they have.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really interesting for the team to be able to collapse on this. It is a really high priority on scoring. Like, yes, they grab objectives when they can, but the main focus is to just utilize items that can get, bigger later down the line with scoring.
Certainly that, and I almost use the word abuse. It's like you just abuse that goal getter in the the Wigglytuff, for example. Very good with that buddy barrier. You use your Unite move, just go in there if they need to. I mean, they don't even sometimes need the Unite move. Just go in there, goal getter, boom, and it's in, right? And so this Greedent, props to the purple Greedent, I would say, for doing what Greedent can do best. Look at that. Here we go. Score shield just getting taken out. Obviously, when you have 18 points, that's a little bit higher for a score shield by itself to take. Usually that threshold is at about 14, 15 points before it can break. That's just for most characters in most cases. But like we mentioned earlier, it's now 225 to 260, so that's much less of a gap, right, than it was before.
Yeah, they're closing out the gap. They're making it pretty even. A couple of the ultimates are flying out here, but it is going to be really tough to bring down, not only Greedent, but now you have to worry about which objectives you can take right now with both a Dragonite and a Talonflame kind of waiting for the orange side. So it looks like they're migrating up top, so if they happen to go and get Dreadnought, that'd be really good for them, but it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out.
Right, and so that would be an uncontested purple Dread. We can see on the mini-map, though, what is happening with that. Venusaur was kind of thinking, hey, are we going to go up? And then Greedent actually doubled back around, too. So they'll all get the Dreadnought, looks like, while Orange Squad obviously going to bust down this Rotom pretty quickly, unless somebody can steal that. There were a few purples in the realm, in that area, but doesn't look like it, obviously. Orange is going to secure that. And so at this point, normally, I think a lot of our brains in the English meta, if you want to call it that, other territories often will think, hey, we're going to need to crowd that Articuno in this case, but Zapdos. And we can see that they are crowding that area. It's just, I think, again, they may, burst this down. Look at how fast that's going to go. I think it was much less key, though. It's like, just because they get Articuno, okay, so right side team has it. Does that mean they're going to win? Well, let's wait and find out, of course.
Yeah, it looks like the other team is kind of just sprinting to the other side. They say, okay, well, we can't really contest this because it's going really quickly. So let's just grab whatever goals we can, and we're going to try to flip it around and see how much we can score. Because if they're scoring on your side, nobody's defending theirs. So you got to take into consideration that. But yeah, purple team is trying to burst down and get as many kills as they can. That's going to force a big respawn timer, especially going into these later parts of the game. So with just about a minute left, I feel like so far it's leaning towards orange team, since they did get that Articuno, but at the same time it will come down to how coordinated purple can get and if they can score on that mid.
Yeah, they need another strike here, but wasn't that, it was kind of magnificent, to be honest, because everybody beelined it for each other's goals and stuff. You know, maybe one purple's trying to go pick off some oranges and whatnot, but really that was just kind of a majesty, right? You score your goals, and then immediately that teleport back for most of those orange players to try to stop this purple onslaught, because they did, I think, close that gap largely. In the final stretch, 100 points is not that bad, right? To be down by 101, let's say, because look at this right here. That Greedent's going to get 38 because of the double, and now Wigglytuff with the 29, that's going to be 58 right here on the double points.
Oh man,
so yeah,
so close.
Yep, look at that, 5 points separating our teams, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, it's going to come down to if either the Greedent or the Wigglytuff can get like even a tiny score in here.
Yes, you just need anything.
Plus the defense coming out from the other team, they're trying for it. They're going to be popping.
And look at that, right at the last second, 28 points right there with the double. That is time's up. Let us see that score as we await.
Oh man.
There it is. So definitely purple just sneaking in. I mean, that was all about purple Greedent, I think, in that really entire match, but right in that last, what, 15 seconds?
Yeah, it really did come down to both the Wiggly and the Greedent. So the defense coming out from the Venusaur and the Cinderace and the Absol just kind of playing the one goal that they had was a really good idea, but it's really hard to break both Buddy Barrier and Starlight Recital coming out from Wigglytuff on top of the quick, I guess the quick scoring that you can get out of Greedent. Also having the score shield, utilizing Fluffy Tail to go ahead and take whatever they need to as well. It's so hard to defend that regardless of what character you have. So really good on Purple to really figure that out. Say, you know what, we have the utility to keep ourselves alive and to prevent our score shields from breaking. We should use this to score just a little bit when, you know, points are doubled, and take advantage of that.
I think it was definitely a spectacle to see. This is the kind of match that you do want to see, right? Because it's just back and forth in those last few seconds. And so, Kanashii, it was an honor to have you do this one with me as well. You'll be back in the future, I know, but please let the people know where we can find you and maybe just kind of what projects you're working on.
Yeah, so I am Kanashii. You can find me at KanashiiGG on Twitch. I will be streaming every Monday, Thursday, and Friday from now on, usually around nighttime PST. There's no hard time limit yet. And if you guys want your matches casted, regardless of what game it is, feel free to tune in on Mondays. I do live commentary of any game that people throw at me. I've had Overwatch, I've had Pokemon Unite, and more recently I did Tetris. So it's really really interesting to take a stab at that.
Very, very nice. Links will be in the description. Thank you guys so much, everybody, Kanashii, and thank you viewers for viewing.